Alright, what's up everybody? This is Rob Shack. So today we're going to be doing the next video in my little mini-series here of the head-to-head of all the cars, the first level cars in New York. So we're going to be talking about the Crusero Magnifico, the Jones J450, and the Piranha PDQ ARi. So what I will do with this video, and be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share by the way, is I'm going to be talking about each of these cars, talk about their stats, talk about them while I drive them around, and I'm going to compare them to the other versions of these cars. So we'll start with the Crusero Magnifico. We'll go from there, talk about the Jones J450, and then the Piranha PDQ ARi. No reason for the order, it doesn't matter. But be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. What I'm going to do is just cruise. I'll use some NOS because each of these cars has nitro. I'll talk about their handling, talk about their characteristics, talk about how they improved, and from there we'll see which one is the best in my opinion. Please leave your opinion in the comment section below too, because I'm very curious. So the Piranha Magnifico is the obviously third. Wait, did I say Piranha? I meant to say Crusero. The Crusero Magnifico is the. Wait, hold on. There might be a train outside my house. There is a train. Well, hold on a second. Okay, there it goes. So, what I feel about the Piranha or the Crusero Magnifico is that again, this is very, very similar car to the Crusero Excelente, but the thing is, it has just more acceleration, which makes it really freaking good. It's actually a really, really good car. It only has 3 NOS, and I'm pretty sure that's the lowest of the 3. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, the Magnifico has really good handling. As you can tell, I'm just kind of swerving in and out of traffic. It has just the right amount of handling that it's not super tight. It kind of drifts a little bit. You're able to take corners really well. It's essentially the same car as the Magnifico, except that its acceleration is better, which makes it way more viable. The Magnifico kind of had a little bit low acceleration. So now it's able to really fly. Handling is the same, durability is the same, all that stuff is the same, I'm pretty sure. I think it looked exactly the same, it just had a little bit more acceleration. But that makes a huge difference, especially since at every turn you slow down a little bit and you might nick a pedestrian car and that slows you down. So it's good to have a lot of acceleration in a game like this because you're going to be dealing with a lot of, even if you hit like a traffic pole like that, you slow down. NOS in this game is not nearly as cool as in the later Midnight Club series, but it makes a difference. I mean, it's just literally that subtle noise and then the car just kind of accelerates a little bit faster. Having 3 is pretty bad given that the other 2 have more, but yeah, the Magnifico is a really good car. It handles very well, doesn't slide too much, doesn't flip over. It's responsive, it's fast. Overall, a very good car. I mean, as I've said, I mean, you're kind of probably getting used to this. The Crusero is very much the middle of the ground car in the game. It's very average, very balanced. I think they do that on purpose because it literally is the Crusero is the first car you can usually unlock because Emilio is the first person you race. So the Magnifico or the Cruceros are all pretty much balanced in terms of their stats. They improve at a very good rate. They're very like standard in their improvement. They just slowly increase their stats over the 3 progressions of the car, which is good. I mean, that's what you want. That's why I think I would just always kind of put this car in the middle of the ground. Overall, very good car, good handling. Like 3 NOS isn't that good, and we'll compare its stats because I can't remember them honestly. We'll compare its stats to the Jones and the Piranha right now because I can't remember how it matches compared to them. So there's the Magnifico stats. When you compare it to the Jones J450, Jones of course has terrible handling, as it always does. The acceleration and the top speed of the Jones are better than the Magnifico, but again, yeah, you have that terrible handling. Durability is kind of important, but not really. The Piranha PDQ, again, is the just insanely high acceleration and kind of low top speed. But yeah, we're going to move on to the Jones J450. Talk about that a little bit. Let me actually go back and compare here. Yes, okay. Cool. So yeah, the Jones compared to the Jones J420 is basically fully better. I think its handling was a little bit worse, but not as bad as the Jones J400. So I don't expect it to flip over as much. Um, its acceleration is really good. Not as good as the Piranhas, but very, very good. Um, the Crusero definitely, again, is that middle of the ground car. The Jones has the insane top speed. The top speed is higher and the acceleration is higher, but its handling is very, very low. Very, very hard to control. And you'll see in a second when I drive it around. It's very hard to control this car. Worth it to drive for sure, but yeah, it's a challenge for sure. Very, very tough car to deal with. It has 4 NOS, which again is better than the Crusero Magnifico, but when you think about it, I mean, its acceleration is also better, so that's good, and its top speed is better, which is great. But having that extra NOS is really nice because you know you're gonna want to, if you ever spin out, you want NOS. It helps you get back on track, especially if you have high acceleration. It really helps. But yeah, the thing that I always say, I've said this I think in every single video of my head-to-heads in this series, is that these cars are so the handling is so important. It's such an underrated stat because you look at the Jones and you're like, this thing clearly is the like most balanced car, and it's like it is if you can control it. If you can control the Jones, then it's totally worth it to use it. But it's so hard to handle. It's better than the original Jones, but yeah, like if you start getting hit by stuff, if you're trying to swerve in and out of traffic, the car is a little bit. It seems like it just kind of doesn't want to turn, like, or it tries to like turn at the wrong time. It seems like it's really twitchy, but like almost delayed. If that makes sense. It seems like the turning of the car doesn't fully work as well as it should. Maybe that's just like a bug in the game, but I don't know. It seems like the Jones is, again, the car that you would want to use if you can handle it, if you can handle taking those turns, if you can take those turns super well. I think this car would be the best one. But for me, I don't like it as much, and I don't think it's as good. But I do respect that if someone wants to use it, and if somebody mains with this car and gets really good with it, then you're going to be kicking everybody's butt with this thing because it has, I think, the most balanced stats of the top speed and acceleration. It's just that its handling is so bad, and that really throws it down a couple pegs in my book. Yeah, the 4 NOSes though, really good. It's really close between the Crusero and the Jones J450. Those two cars to me are very similar in terms of like, I don't know which one I would want to use. I mean, I think the Magnifico, because it just has an increase in acceleration, you kind of know what you're going to get with it, as opposed to the Jones J450. You don't really know what's going to happen because with the handling decrease, like, that just really is hard. Like, I mean, I tap the joystick and the car keeps turning when I keep hitting those walls like that. That's just because the handling isn't as good. It doesn't straighten out as easily. You have to kind of re-tap the handbrake again just to try to keep it back straight. But that's not easy to do with this car because it like does not want to go back to normal. But that's just the thing with it. If you have lower handling, that's what's going to happen. Again, this car's acceleration stuff is really good. So if you have a race out on the freeway, this car's going to kick everyone's butt. It's just going to win. It has the acceleration and the top speed to make it. I think this car would be the best there, but the thing with Midnight Club is you have a lot of races that are very close quarters, and you have a lot of really tight handbrake corners. That just does not suit the Jones J450 very well. It's still a very good car. Again, don't get me wrong. It's just that if you're going to try to maintain speed, you kind of, it's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to do with the Jones. Durability is lower on this one than the others. That doesn't really matter. Like, I guess that's worth kind of mentioning. But yeah, like, this car is really hard to control, but very fast. So that's what I have to say about that. I definitely think that, as I've said before, the Jones J450 is the challenging car to use. The Piranha is basically a better handling, lower top speed, higher acceleration car than compared to the Jones. Like, I mean, look at that handling stat of the Jones compared to the handling stat of the Piranha PDQ ARi. It's like not even close. And then the Crusero again is just right in the middle, very safe. And then the Piranha is the car where the Piranha Piranha PDQ ARi to me is a slightly more challenging car than the Piranha or PDQ-R, because of the fact that the durability is so bad on the Piranha PDQ. You start getting tense with the Piranha as the damage gets higher, because the damage jumps up and kind of, it has like droves. Like, you don't just get a slight increase in damage. Like, if you hit something with the Piranha PDQ ARI, you're gonna see it. The damage goes up real fast. So the Piranha is a risky car again. So I definitely think that in this situation, the Piranha and the Piranha PDQ ARI and the Jones J450 are both super risky, but for very different reasons. The Piranha is very good at handling. It's insanely good at handling compared to the other two. But its damage is so absolutely awful that if you hit anything, like I'll show you as I drive around for a while, the Piranha just takes so much damage if you nick something, if you hit something, if you take some damage. You'll start to notice that the damage meter will just like shoot up. It's really overwhelming. When you get to the point where you're near the end of the car's life cycle, if you basically start slowing down, like that type of stuff gets in your brain for sure. It's definitely a risk. The Jones, though, has the worst handling, and the Piranha has the worst durability. And I think that's where you get at it. The Jones is still really sloppy in its handling. The Piranha is super touchy, but stays under control. I feel like the Jones does not do that very well. And the Crusero is just the safe, nice option. The Piranha is super quick off the line, and that's just like a really big deal for me, because of, it's essentially the Toad of Mario Kart 64. The Piranha hits that up to a T. I don't know if y'all noticed just how much my damage increased from hitting that wall in that one mid-X truck. Pretty bad. But yeah, the handling of this car is good, so you can argue that you're not going to hit as much stuff with the Piranha because of the fact that its handling is so good. So that's a very viable alternative. The acceleration, again, on this car is just absolutely incredible. 5 NOSes, too, is a really, really big deal. That's the highest of every car, and the acceleration is super high. So you really have a lot of pluses going for the Piranha. I think its top speed and acceleration were both higher. Its handling was a little bit lower, but because the handling was so insanely high, you can afford to lose some of the handling if you get some more speed and acceleration. You definitely will need to get used to all 3 of them. The easiest one to get used to will be the Crusero Magnifico or Excelente. Again, always proving its point. I think the Crusero is the safest car out of all 3. The Jones is the super reckless but super powerful car. You can kind of bully people on the road. It's really easy. And then the Piranha is the super quick off the line accelerating car, but its top speed always is the weakest part of it. So again, if you the Piranha PDQ ARI definitely has the best top speed of the 3, but it's of the 3 Piranhas, but it's definitely the worst by a pretty significant margin compared to the other 2 cars. But the thing to think about also is that the acceleration is so insanely high on the Piranha PDQ ARI that you hit your top speed super fast when the other cars don't. Now, granted, they have NOS, so they can get up there quicker than normal, but the top speed of the Piranha, even though it's low, you get there so much faster that you're hitting a speed that the other cars aren't hitting as quickly. And you have 5 NOS, which is kind of insane, given that this is still early in the game. So you could basically unlock the Piranha PDQ ARI and just sweep everybody for a while. But yeah, definitely the Piranha's weak. Obviously, I just kind of hit a couple things every once in a while, and I'm already smoking. I was just scratching my shoulder there, and then I just slammed in every wall ever because I just was holding the gas, so that's my bad. But yeah, I think if I had to choose between the 3 cars when I'm fighting the champion, which again, hooray, I unlocked him because I got that glitch figured out. If I figured out, I had to start the game over, which is great. But when you think about this, I think the Piranha PDQ ARI is the best car to fight the champion because, again, you have that insanely high acceleration that the Piranha has. That sets it up so that it's able to really handle itself well. It has the higher handling and higher acceleration, I think, of all 3. So that's those are your 2 best stats when you're fighting the champ, because you're gonna not want to lose any speed on turns because he's so fast. Because basically the PT, I think it's called the Phoenix PT Standard. That car is so freaking good that its base level is better than every New York car essentially. So you really want acceleration and you want handling. You want to be able to take corners like I just did there. Like I took that corner very fast, no trouble at all. And granted, sometimes the AI can get in the way like that, but like just driving that corner, I took it like really well, and the damage was high too. So it's like, yeah, I think the Piranha is the best final version of each car. So to kind of sum up the videos, as I total this car against this wall and lose my little wheels, I think the Piranha PDQ is the best first level car and the third level car, and I think the Crusero Excelente is the best middle tier car. That's just kind of my final version of the three. I think that that's, again, very close, and I would love to hear the argument against that lineup, but I think that's kind of the way we're going to have it be. I think that again, it's really close, and you can obviously make a case for each. So let me know in the comments what your versions of these are, because I am very curious, and I would like to know what y'all think about these cars and about which one you think is the best. I want to hear the first version, second version, and third version from each person. I would love to know what y'all think, and I would love to see your rankings in the comments section. So yeah, y'all are great. This has been fun. Just driving around. Cream is there, which is so encouraging because freaking wasn't before, so that's good. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this little mini series. I'm gonna go back to my playthrough of the game now that I have him unlocked, and then I'll come back and do this again for the New York or the London cars later. So thank y'all so much for watching, and subscribe for more.